Dude, we were having a conversation earlier about difficult people. Right? And what struck me about the conversation is this difficult person in particular, to me, as you explained, she makes everyone feel that everyone else is wrong. Right? To me, this person is, metaprogram-wise, somebody who sorts by difference. In a crowd, as hypnotherapists, we've handled large crowds, like 150 or so in an auditorium. The people who sort by difference are the ones who, paano kung? They're always asking for the exception. Unfortunately, they're very disruptive because they start from whatever is the reverse of everything else. So let's invent like patterns to play with people who mess with us. Fair? And this is in an effort, of course, to make everybody's life nicer. Because after all, you're not the only one affected by this person, and we want to help each other without harming the self-esteem of said person. Fair? So, by example, if this were a person who sorts by difference, and the tendency is, as you explained to me, if I got this right, she gives you instructions but doesn't really give you instructions. Can you explain that?
In relation to instructions, nagbibigay siya ng instructions.
Oh.
Tapos sinusunod namin. Pero the next day na magpapacheck kami, yung instructions na binigay niya, which is yung ginawa namin, is panibagong instructions na naman na sinabi, hindi, mali ito.
Okay. Yung pagbibigay niya ng instructions, paano pagbibigay ng instructions yung pagbibigay niya ng instructions?
Yung pagbibigay niya ng instructions, magulo siya eh. Hindi siya yung organized.
Yung magulo siya na hindi organized, magulo siya hindi organized na parang ano?
Parang, kumaga dito ko siya may tulad eh. Parang, halimbawa sa computer, pag siya nagbigay ng instructions, kalat-kalat yung files. Unlike dun sa mga ibang professor na pag nagbigay sa'yo ng ideas, parang naka-folder na siya.
Right. Okay. Itong professor ito kung magbigay ng ideas, hindi pa naka-folder, kalat-kalat. Okay. And here we see an internal metaphor that you had. It's your way, it's how you perceive. Na hindi mo babagyan ng words kanina. Pero ngayon naintindihan mo na ganito pala yung tingin mo dun sa teacher na yun. Okay? And what we did is we used just one of the many questions in a system called clean languaging. All I asked you is, naalala mo ba paano tinanong ko? Tinanong kita eh. I asked you a question. Do you remember what the question was?
Yung iba.
Yeah. You can't say it, right? Yeah. And the reason why you can't say it is I asked you what is essentially process language. It forces you to go inside and it forces you to answer my question. But nicely, it brings out your internal metaphor. And what I mean by it brings out your internal metaphor, it shows us both exactly how you perceive it inside, even if you didn't know that you perceived it inside this way. Like a while ago, before this conversation, you didn't even know that the way you perceive her is like somebody or a computer system that doesn't cluster together files in one folder. You didn't even know that that's what it felt like, but that's what it's been feeling like. Right? Does that kind of make sense? So now that we know it's kind of like that, we can begin to do something about it. Okay? And you explained to me in reverse that what you actually need is somebody or a way to cluster all the files into one folder so that you understand it, because she's driving you nuts otherwise. Does that kind of, so it answers several questions at the same time. Does that kind of make sense? Now, here, let me help you reverse engineer what we did so you can use it on her. Or with her, because as all hypnosis goes, it's a game, it's a play, it's a dance. It's not something you do on a person, it's something you do with a person. Unfortunately, not so much. You have to do it with their consent, but it doesn't have to be fully conscious consent. Does that kind of make sense? And it works best if you have good, clean intent. Now, if you start from, not from yung naiinis ka, but if you start from, I really want to understand, you'll be the first person who put in effort to try and understand. Does that kind of make sense? Now, I'll help you reverse engineer what we did. Right? My pattern was that kind of X. What kind of X is that X? Okay. Example, yeah? Ma'am, etong ganito, anong klaseng ganito tong ganito? Does that kind of make sense? Yeah, can you give me an example in her context?
Ito bang pinapagawa mo ay anong klaseng
Even more specific than that, give me one example, being vague enough so people can't identify the person, but being clear enough so that it's like an example you can actually use. Okay? Can you give me an example of an instruction she gave you?
exact?
Like, do it this way. Ito gawin mo.
Ito, palitan mo to, ito yung ipalit mo.
Okay. Ma'am, itong pinapapalitan nyo, napapalitan ko ng ganito, anong klaseng palit yung gagawin kong palit? What kind of X is that X? Plus, sige po ma'am, yung pagpapalit na ganito, ganitong pagpapalit to. Yung ipapalit ko, anong klaseng pong itong papalit ko na ipapalit ko? Does that kind of make sense? And it, strangely enough, helps her clarify it because she may mean well but not know how to express herself. She may actually have an idea, or this might be the first time somebody actually helps her organize her own thinking. And you can help her do that. You can help her bring out the internal metaphor that she may not even be aware she has for how she actually organizes things. Because she may organize it in actually a way that's mind-blowingly nice, but that we don't understand. But once we understand what it's like, we can better process it. I'll give an example. There's this one person I know who I helped through a process like this. It turns out that the thinking process of the other person is she was thinking on several levels, and she's always trying to hit those check boxes. But it was never explained to people, so people were looking for the one folder. Instead of looking for, she has a checklist. And this person, by example, may or may not have a checklist, but if they had a checklist and it never occurred to her that she has a checklist, and nobody knew that she had a checklist, you don't know what boxes to check. Okay. Does that kind of make sense? And the pattern is, that X, what kind of X is that X? Yung ano na yan, anong klaseng ano yung ano na yan? Does that kind of make sense? And this has been a demo for clean languaging, and it's a lot more powerful than that, and what it enables us to do is essentially be very neutral, but get very, very far. It prevents us from introducing our own biases. You know how pag mainit ang ulo mo, hindi ka na makafunction eh. What clean language forces us to do is it's very neutral but very powerful language that enables us to not put in our shit, but actually get from a person what's actually important to them so that we can help them better and make everybody else's life so much better. I hope that helps. Medyo may sense? Great, man. Salamat for playing.